Hi friends, today's video is about how you can create the life you actually really want to be living. So I'm just going to go through the fundamentals of what I did when I came out of my coma, and I just want to make it clear that you don't need a near-death experience or catastrophic critical brain hemorrhaging or any of the stuff I went through. You don't need to go through a coma or break your back and spend years and years and years of your life healing and in recovery. The methodology is all you need, and it's a conscious choice that we make to create something better for ourselves. Transformation truly is a case of awakening consciousness. It is enlightenment, and it suggests a rapid expansion from the person you are now into the identity that's up to the task, the person that's actually up to the challenge of fulfilling your dreams. So when I came out of that coma, I had suffered these critical head injuries and everything, and a lot of people mistakenly believed that it was the frontal lobe damage and the degree of neurological damage that caused my personality shift. But that's not actually the case. It was a conscious decision that I made when I came out of that coma, because I had basically a separation of my consciousness, or what some people call the spirit or the true self, from thought and emotion. So from these loops, from these predictable cycles and patterns that we live out of that make up the personality, self, the ego, the small self, if you will. That's not a fixed thing, that's a plastic thing. We have basically uploaded a version of ourself through past experiences, conditioning, programming, parenting, the hurts that we've carried, the times we've fallen down, the ways we've picked ourselves up, and an identity has been formed and neurologically embedded within each of us. But it's one version out of many, many, many. The numbers of connections that are possible in your brain are almost limitless, the way the brain is able to communicate with different compartments and remap and restructure itself. So as I sat there in that hospital bed, it was a couple of days after I came out of the coma, and I had this profound separation of consciousness, as I said, from the running transcript in the head, what I refer to as the mental terrorist, the voice in the head that sounds just like you, and it just judges and compares and competes and tries to predict things, and it's a terrorist. It truly is. It tries to keep things the same. It tries to keep everything in status quo, and most of us just live. That's the ego. Most of us just live chained, and I'm using that word, that's the correct word here, chained to that voice, and it doesn't change. It's the same way of looking at things, the same lens, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, and it limits us. Unless you've got the life that you've always dreamed of, in which case you wouldn't really be watching this video. But we stay chained to this mental terrorist, and it keeps everything the same. It keeps life the same. It keeps dreams at bay. It keeps enemies in place. It keeps the past alive. The mental terrorist loves to have enemies. It loves to have the past as this badge that it can wear, because it needs a justification for not doing and for staying the same. And that's what I realized. I realized in a moment of separation, this moment of awakening consciousness, as I separated from the program and could see the program, I realized that if my dreams were ever going to come true, if I was ever going to become a professional musician or help other people or teach or follow any of my dreams, I would have to dissolve this old self. I would have to think, choose, act, feel, and believe in ways that were completely 180 degrees. And in that moment of separation, I had the keys to the city. This rapid expansion of my consciousness, yes, it was aided by the brain injury, because my brain was forced into reshaping and plasticity because of the injury, but I just basically was able to pause the loop, pause the program long enough. I was conscious with my pain, conscious with my hurt long enough for it to heal, for it to dissolve and transmute and turn back into energy, into consciousness, into inspiration and motivation, enthusiasm. And my body was electric, like actually electric. I could feel the electromagnetic field of my heart for weeks after I came out of the coma. And other people were commenting on it as well. They were like, man, this energy's coming off you, there's this vibe that's going on. You're like electric right now, Damien. And that's because of the level of inspiration I felt once I realized that I got to choose my own adventure. The personality wasn't fixed. That the way I'd been thinking and the way I'd allowed my emotional reactions to dictate my friendships, my relationships, my addictive traits, my belief in myself, all of it could be reprogrammed. All of it could be seen from a higher point of consciousness. It's often referred to as metacognition, where we're able to watch a thought, we're able to observe a program rather than being the program. This is available to every single one of us. There's nothing special about Damien Horton at all, beyond the fact that we're all incredibly unique, sacred, and special expressions of universal consciousness, having this physical linear experience we call life. But we are all the same in that sense. If you've got a plastic brain, which you do, and you've got a dream or a desire in you, then you can change. And as I said at the start of the video, you don't need all the drama and all the pain and suffering and pain that I've been through to get there. When you follow what I teach, when you understand that the principles are the principles. So it happens in a moment of disidentification. And it's just like an upgrade or an update. It's a software update, just like your phone gets an update. You're just doing that for your personality. And it can only be done through awakened consciousness. Only a higher degree of consciousness, or metacognition, as I said, is able to watch the mental terrorist, to see it as a thought form and not the absolute truth, to see the pain body, to see an emotional reaction, sorrow, sadness, and a stress response, and just witness it without falling into it, without your behavior becoming incongruent and matching this limited feeling. And in that moment of separation, which you can reach through yoga, through breath work, through meditation, through the meditations that I teach, my heart activation meditation's a perfect one for this. Tai Chi, expression, dance, being creative, moments of inspiration through creativity, art, poetry, music. There's many different channels to reaching this space. There's suddenly this rapid expansion of consciousness where you realize there is a deeper dimension to you than the image in the mirror, than your name, than the physical body, the shell that we inhabit. And in that moment, you get the keys to the city. And it's true liberation from suffering and fear of separation and fear of death, and everything just comes flooding in. And then we just need to look at, who would I need to be? Okay, if I can stay conscious long enough to watch this reaction and watch these thought forms and watch the mental terrorist, then what would the thought need to be? What is this future version of myself choosing? What do they choose? How do they act? It's as simple as that. What do they believe about themselves and about the world? What feelings would I be feeling? And then start flooding your body with those thoughts, choices, actions, and beliefs and emotional states now. So through meditation and mental rehearsal, through repetition, the brain rewires itself. That's a fact. Through increased impulse traffic, you can upload a new version of you. And this is, where all the pain and the surgery and my broken back and all of that going on, I was tethered to this hospital bed. So I had a lot of time to practice. But the moment I got out of hospital, and I walked out of there, I just threw myself completely into meditation and learning everything I could every single day. I wasn't missing my meditation. I was rehearsing the new Damien that was going to bring in the new life, because it was such a simple realization. I'm sitting in ICU and I went, if this thought, this mental terrorist, that voice that sounds like me, if it was the truth, okay, and if the way I choose and the way I feel, if that was going to lead me to the life of my dreams, there's no way I could have 42 metal plates in my face right now and have just had my face cut off and spent 7 days in a coma. It's impossible. And so in that moment, I disidentified from it. And as I said, that opens the doors. The keys to the city are thrown at you. Okay, so you want to start now by increasing your level of conscious awareness throughout the day. You want to just be watching the breath, noticing things that trigger you, and when your heart rate changes, the stress response creeps in, and noticing the mental terrorist. Listen to it, okay? But don't fall into it. Just start to become aware of its texture, its sound, the flavor that it's giving you, and choose something greater. It is within you. You can do this, and I'm living proof that it's possible. More information, head to damienhorton.com, like and subscribe.